Today I'm going to talk about awkward card making with a couple of examples here to demonstrate the topic. First one I'm going to talk about is this one. This was a brief of an 18th birthday for somebody who enjoys making digital music. And of course we all think, oh Lord, what have I got in my stash that I can use for that? I'm not going to have a stamp that represents digital music. I'm not going to have a die set that represents digital music. So you sort of think, oh God, what am I going to do? So the first thing I thought of was, an old graphic equalizer that you used to have with a stereo. So anyway, I found this background picture, copyright free image from Google, and I've printed that out basically on just a basic inkjet color printer. What I then did is I cut out a 6x6 piece of card. I tore it in the middle to sort of create almost like a graphic equalizer image, as it goes up and down with the music, top and bottom. I thought, well, that'll create an interesting aperture. And then I've mounted that printed image behind it. I've got a basic Canon printer, an inkjet printer, just printed it on sort of 250 GSM paper. And then I've cut that down basically so that it fits. And then I've inked using Distress Oxide. So I use three colours, Spice Marmalade, Squeezed Lemonade and Lucky Clover. And basically I've just done an ink blend that parallels the colours on the card. So in the middle here I had two different shades of green, a yellow and an orange. So I've done a green to yellow fade at the top and a yellow to orange fade at the bottom. So the elements that I've done with my traditional card making methods mirror the colours in the middle. Some people would say printing stuff is cheating. I don't think so at all. I think if it helps you achieve the objective of the project and the customer likes what you've done, I think that's absolutely acceptable. Obviously, you have to be careful with printed imagery to make sure it's not got any kind of copyright or restrictions on using it. But if you search, you can find images that are copyright free. What I've then done also is I've printed Happy 18th Birthday Noah, just in a repeating pattern, and I've stuck that across. I was going to put it in the middle, which would be the obvious place, but because it was obvious, I didn't put it in the middle. And that way you end up with a card that's interesting. Not loads of traditional card making techniques on there. Obviously I've matte and layered it with a blue edging to create a frame before I've mounted it onto a white 6-inch card base. But I think that's a really attractive looking card. I could add more to it. I could have done water splats on the top and bottom, but I just thought I just want to leave it really plain, let the image in the middle be what it's all about. I finished it off inside with a simple printed sentiment, and that's it basically for that card. I'm really happy with that, and the client was really happy with that. The second card I'm going to talk about is this one. Again, it was an 18th birthday card for a friend of their son's, and this was for a guy called Joe, and the brief was he's into running and he's into cross-country biking. So again, you sort of think, oh, what have I got in my stash? Nothing that represents either, no dies, no stamps. Anyway, so I thought, well, I'm going to have to resort to imagery again. So I found these cute images. Again, both printed. This is printed, this is printed. This was part of a larger image which I cut down, and I printed those basically just on my inkjet printer again. What I then did is I cut those shapes out and I etched them with some distress ink using Broken China from the Ranger Tim Holtz range. So a little bit of blue edging around both. They're both the same panel size. What I then did is I cut a 12 by 17 inch panel at the back, which is 5x7 in traditional measures, and I used a simple clockwork sort of steampunk cog stencil with that same matching blue, again Broken China Tim Holtz, and basically just stenciled the back with some light stenciling, particularly around the lettering, getting darker as it goes up to the top of the card. The fact that I've used the same colour ties the background in with the foreground. It's clear that this is printed, and that's not, but the fact that I've used the same colour has brought it together. What I did then also, just to give it a feeling of sort of kinetic energy, is I put these tapes across. This is a simple reflective washi tape, which I hope you can see. And basically, just by putting that on there, because the two things are all about movement, I'm sort of thinking, well, what would evoke movement on a card? So you've got somebody running, you've got somebody cycling, and you've got lines. The obvious thing to do would be to take the lines all the way across. I haven't done that either. I've started one under one of the images, one under, one over, and then there's a little tiny bit on the bottom of the card as well. just by doing that, it creates some sort of kinetic energy on the card. The two panels I've mounted, just stuck on the card. I haven't lifted them. I've just stuck them down on the card. One is slightly offset against the other. And again, the client was really delighted with this. They give you these really difficult briefs and think, how the hell are you going to do this? But by doing a bit of simple Googling and a bit of simple imagery review, you can think of a way to tie that stuff together. So these were a couple of simple cards, not overly complicated or complex, but could have been quite difficult to achieve with normal stamping and die cutting, etc. So you have to think laterally. And I guess that's really the purpose of today's tutorial, just to say, think about the images that evoke, the stuff that the client is asking for, where you can get those images, and then how you can ground them into traditional card making. A simple image, match the colors, do something different with it. Think about a graphic equalizer look, some movement, a little bit of energy, cogs. You've got cogs on the bike, things like that. So that's today's video, not showing you how I made them because I've explained it. Should be fairly obvious, but hopefully it might just give somebody an idea if you get that really impossible card to make and you're struggling to think, how the hell am I going to do it? Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe my channel on YouTube. I will be posting regular content. Also, my cards are for sale. They're available on my Etsy store, which is also called Crafts by John UK. Thanks for watching and speak to you next time.